has thinned out. Wait, was that? No, that was RC. That was, yeah, this is RC, not the Queen. The Queen goes to ability now.
Queen with the magic mirror, she's kind of the last hope of this attack. She still has a decent shot with one healer trying to keep this one clone queen alive. That queen will go down. The other queen go to the outside, but we had a wall break. Ooh. A nice back-end wall breaker. A giant that's healthy. They can get out in front. The queen can reach everything, even with the other clone queen disappearing. The main queen has enough health. It's a race against the clock, and it's looking good. As 8 seconds, 7, the queen can do damage, and it's another 3-star for Only Bats.
They take the advantage back with D.Va's triple. D.Va is on another level today. He knows what's on the line. He doesn't want to leave anything on the table. He's throwing it all out there, and it is a 3-star in 2 minutes and 54 seconds. So the pressure now goes back over to Dizzy X Stamina. They are up on percent, but if they do not get a 3-star, they will be trailing on stars, and that is the most important number in all of the wars.
Definitely indeed. Stars come first. So all the pressure over to Dizzy. It's now or never. Well, they technically have 2 attacks left, but they got to start feeling like, hey, they need to 3-star. You don't want to just wait until the very last attack to even have a chance. Heath Ledger has got that pressure on his shoulders. He's up next, rocking with more Root Riders. He's going to be starting with the Royal Champion on the upper side of the base here. A couple of Teslas, perhaps pulling this champion to the left, so he's going to have to invest in extra invisibility to get her where he wants her.
Well, another factor is with Ninja waiting in the wings. Ninja's hit rate is out of this world. So you definitely, I feel like this is a must 3-star attack. Not to put any more pressure here on Heath Ledger, but Ninja has been known for non-stop
If he doesn't triple, the percent doesn't matter. Dizzy have to triple for the win. So either way, there needs to be a triple here, or else, well, Only Bats will just naturally be up. We're going in with that attack strategy again, where the log launcher is meant to take out the clan castle behind the town hall with the giant arrow, and he manages to do it perfectly. That Inferno Tower behind also taking damage from a few of the logs. It's down to really low health, and the Yetis working with the Queen might have a chance to go take some more defenses out there.
Yeah, they should be able to take that out. No problem. At minimum, the Queen will get there eventually, but Queen actually goes down. No, the Queen is not going to get there at minimum. Now he's going to pop the Warden ability, protecting everything. Here comes the Overgrowth, and that multi, it doesn't have much health, but it is hanging on in the middle, and that could be a factor when those healers start to pass through.
Those healers are taking a lot of damage from the Inferno Tower. Spiky Ball goes off. The Royal Champion makes her way inside, takes out that middle Inferno Tower, but she ends up going down to the backside. Expo, Scattershot combo. He's got some witches. He's got some Root Riders, but I don't see hardly any heroes. There is, I think, a Grand Warden, but that's it. That Grand Warden not going to survive long.
Oh, no.
When the Mortar Crusher locks on, it's low percent, but the percent, remember, does not matter anymore. It is a fail, and that means Dizzy are going to be in a triple or lose situation with the final attack of the match. Everything on the line.
Uncharacteristic miss for Ninja. Let's be honest with ourselves. A 66%. Like, yeah, we might see him miss, but that is a colossal mistake for him. That one just fell apart. He took a little bit of a risk with the RC charge going near the CC. Didn't really bite him too much, but it just seemed like everything spread out, thinned out too much. and that multi in the middle like kind of gave him a little bit of problems at not being able to get that. The ricochet cannons in there. But now it all comes down to this attack right here. If Dizzy can get a triple, they win the war, which also means Elevate would get our golden ticket. So this attack here from Malcolm Merlin has so many implications for so many teams.
Indeed it does. Not only is a golden ticket on the line, but critical ladder points for Only Bads, whether they get third place or if they can get second and still have a chance for first this weekend. And also, of course, prize pool money. So many different factors on the line. It all comes down to the
Will this be the end of the tournament for Only Bads? Or will they move on to face Elevate for a chance at a golden ticket? We're gonna find out in 3 minutes or less as Malcolm Merlin is gonna start in with that RC charge. Building up, going to go right in to this Gigabomb. No ice block spell, so he's just gonna soak that damage. Actually, no, he's gonna make that invisible and avoid that situation and go over to the Fire Spitter.
very interesting. He wants to take out that Fire Spitter. She's gonna go back up for the scatter shot. It's hard to tell exactly where she goes next. Maybe the Expo, maybe the Ricochet Cannon, or he'll just yoink her out of there. Seems like that was the safer option. Did end up pulling all the Clan Castle troops out of the defense. We can already Poison Spell on the Furnace, pull the Ice Golems to the side, and deal with them without having to get frozen in the middle of the base.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he didn't just like throw a Valkyrie there on that Headhunter. The Headhunter's still in there doing a little bit of work to these roots, but it shouldn't be a big factor. Actually, no, they're dealing some damage to the Warden. Yeah, they switched over to the Warden. Remember, Headhunters do target the heroes. So once the Warden got put in, they did deal some damage to him, and he is still low on health as the healers haven't swapped over to help him out yet.
Overgrowth spell in the middle of the base. The oh-so common Overgrowth to help the Root Riders out. That's the only one that he brought, though. No secondary Overgrowth, and he decides to use it early, not delaying it either. So once that Overgrowth expires, he just has to brute force his way through the entire base. Remember, this is all or nothing. 99% is not good enough. He needs 3 stars for his team to stay in this tournament. The Root Riders are moving through the right side of the base, and now the Overgrowth spell expires, and a whole lot of damage is about to hit him.
We're talking about the difference of thousands of dollars here for Dizzy. They already have the golden ticket. They're playing for pride. They're playing for the money. If they can get to the grand final, they have a chance at the grand prize of $15,000 here in our monthly qualifier. Only Bads, they're playing for the golden ticket along with the prize money, so they are hoping for a defense. It's all on the line. It's all coming down to this moment. Rocket Spears in on the Town Hall. Here come the Root Riders surging around the left side of this base, but look at that final compartment, Lexnos. It is tough. Ricochet Cannon, multi-Archer Tower, multi-Inferno, and the Crusher Mortar still stand.
A lot of heavy hitting defenses, and without any spell support whatsoever, no more hero abilities remain. Everything goes down. Only Bads get another defense. Their defenses just prove to be what carries them through these matches, and you can see all their player camps there. They are excited as they will be moving on to the grand finals, and we still have a solid match on our hands to determine who is going to get the golden ticket, because it is not set in stone just yet.
Yeah, we could have had a decision already, but with Dizzy taking the loss here, they will be knocked out of our tournament, which means our grand final will be Elevate versus Only Bads. The winner will take home that golden ticket. But remember, Team Elevate do have the advantage since they have not lost. Only Bads will have to beat them twice. They will have to force a bracket reset. Any single win from Elevate in the grand final, and they will take home the golden ticket. Look at the performance here. Only Bads stepping up when they needed the most, and this one was really all or nothing war. Look at ND's attack, Ninja's attack, even Demos. They didn't have a 90%. It was 3-star or bust for them.
Just like we've seen in every previous war from Only Bads this weekend, they seem to be really consistent, staying at this 12-ish star mark, not normally hitting the 14 stars, but also not being down at 10 stars. They're really consistently hitting kind of 2 triples per war, and just having solid defense that carries them so well that 12-star mark is more than good enough. We could take a look at the final bracket here as the lower bracket is completed. Only Bads win out the lower bracket, make their way into the grand finals, and you can see it up there. Elevate versus Only Bads will be our grand finals match. And remember, this is a true best of 2 or double elimination tournament, I should say, which means Elevate kind of have 2 lives in this grand finals.
As they have earned it, they worked their way right through that upper bracket with no issues. But now Only Bads, let's see if their defenses can carry them just a little bit further. They've been playing really, really well today. And man, this is going to be a great matchup. But remember, Elevate, they're coming off that perfect war. Our first perfect war on broadcast, Lex knows. They are going to be tough to take down. Also, they don't want to relive last month where they had the bracket reset and unfortunately lost. But let's go ahead. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's check out the match MVP for Dizzy X Stamina versus Only Bads. And of course, Dima, 44% of the vote.
Dima is such a critical member of this team. He's been doing really well today, really helping to carry. And we have to assume that a lot of these bases that have been holding strong perhaps have been built by Dima. I think Ninja, the other main base builder for them, but such good performance from this team here today. So congratulations to Dima for the MVP performance. But man, am I really looking forward to these grand finals.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to copy that
pro player also, and I had a lot of trouble against Tribe Gaming, so I know it is very difficult to win against them. So also Only Bads will be a very tough opponent for Elevate at the finals.
And this was actually as well the first qualifier now with the new defenses, the seasonal defenses. We have seen, I think, mostly or pretty much only the Crushing Mortar and as well the Hook Tower. What is your take on that and how you experience this in your stream?
Yeah, I think because of the meta or with the Root Riders, Crusher Mortar is the best for this time. Like if you do some random base, Crusher Mortar will be very good to use. But if you do a specific base, like Only Bads did some of this base against Tribe Gaming with the Hook Tower can be very effective. So for most of the base, Crusher Mortar will be better, but Hook Tower also has its quality, because if you do a good base with the Hook Tower, you can win some wars.
Yeah, higher risk, high reward, I feel. One thing I did want to ask your opinion on is the recently announced balance changes, which we should be seeing coming to effect in the near future. Obviously, we had a pretty big change with the Eternal Tomb previously with the last update, but in terms of the troops that are getting buffs, are there any that stand out to you with these upcoming balance changes?
Yeah, I think Super Bowlers maybe because they got a huge buff with HP and also damage, and Super Bowlers goes very well with the log launcher, and also with this nerf on the walls, maybe the log launcher can be more effective. So since Super Bowlers and log launcher are a very good strategy that was used once, also in a professional competition, I think Super Bowlers can be used again. At some bases, I think Root Riders will still dominate, but you have this option to use Super Bowlers like some players use Super Yeti at some bases today.
Hearing you, listening to you talking about the Super Bowlers, this makes me quite excited. I mean, I always enjoyed the Super Bowlers already back in other town levels, so looking forward to that for sure. But we're getting closer to the final match now, so my question would be for you, who do you think is going to make it? Even though I feel like you already talked about it, you and your community are cheering for Elevate. Do you think as well that are going to make it?
Yeah, I think our team are very prepared to win this time. Last time they lost. By the way, we never won monthly qualifier. All the times that we went to the finals, to the Worlds, we will qualify through other ways, never winning a monthly final. I hope it is this time that Elevate can win.
Yeah, that's an interesting point in terms of the different teams that have kind of been signed over the years, but I wish them the very best of luck. Thank you so much for joining us, Marinol. Obviously, people can check out your live stream on YouTube as well, and they can see your Twitter or X handle underneath your name there as well. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Judo.
Well, there we go. He did get a quick thank you in there. I'm not sure if he got swiped off the screen too quickly, but anyways, an interesting interview. Sounds like you are pretty excited about the Super Bowlers. I'm personally looking more forward to the throwers, but I'd also be interested to see what Lexnos and Bash think about the upcoming balance changes. So there we go. Let's bring him back in. Lexnos, let's start with yourself. Anything that stands out to you with the upcoming balance changes?
Nothing in particular. I think they're all solid changes, going to help some of the troops that are kind of underutilized maybe be utilized a little bit more. I would still like to see, you know, additional stuff, more variety in the future. Maybe we just got to wait for the next round of seasonal defenses and really see something that's going to shake up the meta. What about you, Bash?
Me personally, I mean, the thrower, I cosplayed as the thrower and wanted them to work so much, and they always got stuck on walls. So with the nerf to walls and the buff that they're getting, maybe. But I've personally already been playing with Super Hogs and having some decent success with them. So I think I'm going to personally lean into Super Hogs even more. A little bit of RC charge and a hero dive into Super Hogs. I'm loving it so far.
Well, I know I mentioned the throwers, but one thing that I do like to try from time to time as well is the Warden charge into rocket loons. Balloons got a new level recently, healers are getting increased, and that's exactly what I wanted to break down in the Telestrator segment of this, because we've seen a beautiful example from Damien Dark in the last war. And as we start this one up, you can notice that typically you have an area of the base you want to try and use the Flame Flinger with, and there is this triple mortar set up on the right side. So he has to deal with that. 2 Yetis just placed on either mortar means that they can then bounce across and take the central mortar out after that. And with a couple of Barbarians, he's able to easily test for the Flame Flinger, any Tesla, and then shift his focus across to the left side of the base where we have the Warden, and again, some troops in order to support. But I do want to point out when it comes to the Fireball here, because obviously you will notice turning defenses invisible with the invisibility spells, but we have seen that little technique of using the Ice Block spell to keep your Warden in place. However, in this scenario, he doesn't really have to do that, because you will notice that there is the gold mine the Warden is locked onto, there's the gold storage, so he's not going to run around, and there's also not much damage on the Warden that he has to mitigate either. So he's able to get the Fireball onto the location he wants and basically carve out this section of the base, where now he just has to keep a little bit of an eye on things, play it safe, but notice that he sends in the Headhunters pretty quick towards the Barbarian King. And that's because of hard mode. You cannot slip up. You cannot allow your defending heroes to attack your heroes. This was called out during the stream by Lexnos, but then obviously a couple of balloons are used to pull the Warden in this right direction. And that is because now you notice the Skeleton Spell and the Queen being reinforced from the bottom right. What this means is he aims to then send the Warden and the Queen together up towards the center of the base after the Flame Flinger has worn off. And if we shift our focus back to the Flame Flinger, you notice that the Town Hall does outrange it. Obviously, Damien Dark was you know, aware of this, but it is one thing that if you used to Flinger the Town Hall at previous Town Hall levels, you do have to be aware that the Town Hall 17 will outrange it. And at this point in the attack, he really has to adapt, and that's what I love about this approach as well. We've got the King at the top side of the base, waiting on the Royal Champion, and he doesn't send her in until this giant walks around and begins to tank for the Town Hall as well, because then he's got better chance of the RC not getting in range of this Monolith, and he plays it safe with the invisibility spells as well here, making sure that he can keep the Royal Champion alive, because if he can do that, he has a couple of spells to help out, and 9 9 rocket balloons to reinforce to the top side of the base, and there's only really the air sweeper and scatter shot that cause him any issues. Once he can get in the dead zone of the scatter shot, he then has the ricochet cannon, which he can directly target. And in the end, I really just wanted to highlight an attack that was a bit different in the meta, took those risks, but if you are thinking about utilizing a Warden charge yourself, that's just hopefully a couple of techniques that can help you in getting the 3 stars, and it does obviously make sense to try and use the flame flinger alongside it as well. So hopefully you got a little bit of insight into setting that up, setting the Warden charge, and if you're risky enough in using in hard mode, then there's a couple of tricks up your sleeve there you can use as well, just making sure you have the correct timing of those spells. But I'm sure we can quickly go down the line before we get into the next war, but Itsu, I'm sure you appreciated that attack as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like to bring the Warden charge as well currently to legend attacks. It's just a lot of fun, and as you said, it takes a lot of multitasking as well, not just to keep everything alive, but as well keeping everything alive at the same time. This is really the challenging part, where you have the Warden charge all the time going on, and especially in hard mode, only one hero on your Warden is going to take him out in just a few seconds. But at the same time, you have your flame flinger going on, you have your other heroes trying to dive into the base, set up the pathing, set up the value, and then at the same time you have to look out for value with the rocket balloons. And this is challenging, but it's a lot of fun as well if you're slowly learning the strategy, and we have seen it getting executed to perfection, so that was really enjoyable to watch for sure, Extras.
Indeed, a lot of moving parts, really cool strategy to see that a lot of people are not really using right now, so very awesome. Also one of the only attacks that not only tripled, but had swag troops left over as well, a handful of rocket balloons that he didn't even need.
Yeah, who doesn't love swag? I mean, that's always the big thing there, and it's always kind of refreshing to switch it up a little bit. I know we're in a heavy Root Rider meta, but it's so hard to like kind of get away from that and take that risk, but we saw it work out really nicely there. So
but as you mentioned, it didn't work out for them overall. It was only Bads that got the victory, and now we're into the grand finals. Elevate in the upper side of the bracket, so if they win this matchup, they will get the golden ticket. If only Bads wins, they will have to beat Elevate another time in order to get their golden ticket, Itsu.
There is a lot on the line for those two teams, and I mean, it's a rematch as well, but let's take a final time, maybe a final time, look at the lineups of those two teams. We have Elevate coming in with their lineup of Selenio, Bernal, Leo, Pato, and Max. I mean, they so far looked unstoppable. As we have mentioned, they already beat only Bats, and they were the only teams so far which were able to take their bases out. Question now is, can they do it again, or does only Bats have even more of those tricky bases up their sleeves?
Yes, that is the question, because even though they lost to Elevate, they did hold them down to 12 stars, and as much as, you know, that's still a couple of 3 stars, especially in hard mode, but if the last war versus Dizzy Stamina is anything to go off, where Elevate puts up a perfect wall, it really shows the caliber of the bases by Only Bads, and that's why they are continuing to strive through these matches. And an interesting fact, every single one of Only Bads' matches across this weekend have finished 12 to 11 stars. The 3 they won by 12 to 11, and the one they lost to Elevate, they lost 11 to 12.
Well, the question is, can they repeat that again? But this time around, they are hopefully, maybe not hopefully, depending on if you're looking for it, to a bracket reset, and only Bats winning, then they have to be on the 12-star side for sure, because this seems to be the story of their matches. So really, everything coming down to that one. And as well, the one thing which I'm looking forward to, we have talked about the dedication and the preparation level of Elevate a lot, and they had now one match, like a 1 match break, which means if they were looking the breakdown of like our telestrator and everything, they can really easily bait those power side entries and that would backfire a lot because that would result in 1 stars. And I feel like that's one of the reasons as well why all of us are picking Elevate, because I feel like they are in the winner position, depending on if they had time to adjust some traps. The question is again, if they would change traps on the fly because they had not much time testing it then. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting point. As soon as you mentioned that a little while ago on the stream, that is exactly what I was thinking. However, I do think that, I mean, personally, my vote for Elevate was just that you can't exactly bet against them right now. I think they are the most consistent team. And I do love that you gave the shout out of the amount of time that these teams have put in, because clearly you can see the amount of time Only Bads has put into the bases as well. And it is Demo to kick us off. He is going with Dragons for this one, so no overgrowth. Interesting. Maybe they expected the traps to be baited and have now switched up their tactics altogether.
Yeah, going with a complete different approach than what we were expecting, at least. And the question is, did Elevate expect that as well? We have the far side Crusher, Mortar, but again, for Dragons, that's not as relevant, you want to say. He's really trying to force that Royal Champion into the core. But is she going to go? So many invis spells have to be utilized to create that pathing.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. Now he does get the haste file off, which means she's not going to go up to the monolith, which I think he might have potentially wanted. Obviously, the clan castle was there, so the prediction in where she would have been standing surely he would have expected her to move back down towards the bottom here, but he's got a bit of a weird pathing set up for the Dragons. Obviously, you try to take the core down because then you can just send the Dragons right around the outside, but he hasn't really got clear pathing through the base setup as it stands.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this opening. It does not look the best, that's for sure, but let's hope that it's going to be enough of an opener to somehow get him that 3-star, because we're all hoping for a really close match to make it as exciting as possible. And he is all in now for that town hall site with those Dragons. The Navajo is already gone. The King trying his best to push around the bottom side, but the Town Hall is left standing. And remember, he is rocking that Dark Crown equipment on that Minion Prince.
Yeah, you can see that getting charged up, but the Dark Orb gets pinged off to the side there. It's getting limited value. The Dragon's struggling through the center because there was a defending Furnace, and he had to use the Warden ability early. I also think he expected those multi-target Infernos to go down. Does the Minion Prince and the Dark Crown carry here? Because Dragons are falling fast. Minion Prince will get the Town Hall, so he can breathe a little sigh of release because there was a 1-star potential incoming there. That seems to happen with Only Bads a lot, and then they get it, but I can't see him getting too much further with this one.
Yeah, you can see as well why I'm not a huge fan of this triple Furnace clan cast in hard mode. One Inferno Tower alone is already taking down those Fire Mines. In the regular game, this will be a different story because the defenses are dealing less damage, so Furnaces are just value-wise way weaker in hard mode because the splash is taking those Fire Mines out so quickly that they can't even jump into those buildings to deal the damage. And this is really then the struggle point, and why I'm not really sure why so many pros are really going for that, because I feel like even just 2 Rocket Loons would have gotten more than all 3 Furnaces together. But either way, we're going to finish on an 82% 2-star, and I think Elevate are, depending on overall seeing their earlier matches, are quite happy with that one.
Oh, they absolutely have to be happy with that, because it is not the percentage that would be required, especially when you're thinking grand final scenario. This is where Elevate fell short last month, so they will really be wanting that revenge this time to pull it off. We've got Max, who has just a flawless hit rate once it gets to these monthly finals. So let's see whether he can use his Root Riders, which variation of that he will use, whether he can get an opening 3-star for Elevate.
That is the question. Max so far, as well as Pato, have done incredible over this qualifier. Can they continue with that performance? Max is going first like they have done many times, but they've already shared in an interview that it kind of depends on how quickly they can find their plans. And another attack where Max is going for the Warden Walk instead. Don't worry, he did not forget to bring the Fireball. This is just his style of using those Root Riders right now, because he is opting into not going for the Royal Champion charge, instead going for a Warden Walk, a quick one with typically 1 range, which is a spell investment of 2 spell slots. Compared to a Royal Champion charge, you need already 2 spell slots just for the recall of the for the Royal Champion. So that's the big difference maker.
What on earth? Like, he managed to keep the Grand Warden invisible. Then the Headhunter went inside the invis spell. Healer swapped to the Headhunter to keep it alive a little bit, where the Grand Warden could then finish that off. So he managed to negotiate that area of the base very well. And you can notice just trying to use the Flame Flinger along that left side, had the Hog Rider to check for traps there as well. Nicely controlled so that the Flame Flinger can continue to do work across that area of the base.
Those tests at the bottom side in combination with the skeleton traps are delaying the funnel of the Archer Queen, which means the Root Riders, they will just get like distracted a little bit when it comes down to the outside defenses, but still the Queen was quick enough to get them into that monolith as quickly as possible. This is now where all of the damage is. The same as that Barbarian King on the far right side, and he's already taking a lot of damage.
He is. He does have the Healing Tome on the Grand Warden. There we see it activated to try and boost those Root Riders back up. We do have the Barbarian King continuing to work on a couple of those defenses with the Queen now joining in. That will now path the Root Riders into the core to the Town Hall since that first overgrowth wears off. Should be able to take that down. A nice spiky ball value as well means he can continue this path through the middle.
And he has the second overgrowth waking up again, kind of like in a weird flank position, especially the Fire Spitter is directly targeting at his troops. He still has that Archer Queen ability, and the Flame Flinger on the back end, don't forget about that one, because that was alive over the entire attack and is releasing now 3 Yetis for this back end.
Beautiful invis spell there as well, not just to catch the Royal Champion, but all of the cloned Archer Queens, and that in fact helps them to take down the Scatter Shot. That could have been a genius spell usage, as we seen in the first attack Elevate had today. Is he going to get it? He sneaks a Wizard behind the Fire Spitter down there, Itsu, so it is going to be a 3-star as he just sits back, relaxes, and puts Elevate in a commanding position.
I mean, we're back to Elevate match, and again, just the first attack leaves me speechless. This is just impressive to watch how they're handling their spells and abilities on the back end. I think this is why some of the attacks of other teams look not that optimal during the mid part, but the difference there might be for Elevate that they're just always able to turn things around, and that really puts them above most of the other teams. Only bats they need to answer now. We have Sean going in, and he's bringing that Root Rider attack strategy as well, and he's going to bring the Lock Launcher with an additional Golem to make that hero dive even stronger.
Yeah, we've seen that didn't pay off for him earlier on today, but obviously in their last matchup, he was able to get his first 3-star of this monthly final. Celebrated a little bit, but I think he's going to lose his Royal Champion here if he's not careful. She runs ahead, manages to keep her alive, but I thought the Crusher Motor was going to take her down with those giant bombs, though. The Rocket Spear has gone off and even recalls her. Doesn't want to lose her in the middle of the base. This is bad.
Ooh, okay, that was already a rough beginning, let's put it that way, but we have the King, we have the Lock Launcher, and we have that Queen at the top side. And how much value can they get? The Lock Launcher aiming at that Inferno Tower, and as well the Merged Cannon in the second row, which are out of reach for his other heroes.
Well, at least the Log Launcher is actually working out a little bit better for him this time. Manages to get that Multi-Inferno. Will probably get the Ricochet Cannon with that last log, but it is again opened up and in exactly the same spot as we seen last time. The defending Minion Prince just able to rip open the Log Launcher and the troops inside, shifting back across to the left-hand side of the base. That Royal Champion redeployed. At least he does get the Rocket Spear value, so good job he recalled her when he did. But he's just trying to push the percentage as high as possible at this point.
And take a look at that. This crushing mortar in the core raged up. All of his troops just quickly disappear, and just all of the damage at the bottom side. On top of that, there are no troops left at this stage. Only the king and the queen, while just the queen having the ability left. And Elevate, they're just looking unstoppable on defense right now. Exactly what brought Oni Betzinger into this finals. And it seems like they just cannot really get those 3 stars in.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes early on there, and I guess a little bit unfortunate with his RC diving towards the hero, but you've got to expect that as well when you are pushing into areas of the base like that. So you see the difference in terms of calm, executed attack from Max, and then fresh into the grand final scenario of Only Bads. You can't imagine the extra pressure it adds, and maybe that's what we're seeing here in this opening part of the war as well.
Yeah, he's trying to pick up as many percentage points as possible, but already based on the sort of Elevate, it's going to be tricky winning this match on percentage. They have to somehow clutch this in the 3-star way, and both of the first attacks of Only Bads did fall short. The Warden and the Queen are still trying to get some more value, while the Giant is getting the Expo down as well. And he's going to finish on still a solid percentage with 89%. Just the 3-star, that is missing.
Yeah, I feel like they climbed the percentage a lot higher than I expected as we seen the attack unfolding. Obviously, when there's a mistake with the RC dive, no matter what it is, even though he protected her, it definitely went south from what he expected. And that's where the earlier on in the attack the mistakes happen, the bigger consequence it can end up having. So he did a great job of pushing the percentage as high as he did to at least try and keep them in this matchup. But the way that Elevate have came out swinging today, they've had 6 attacks, they've had 6 3-stars. Let's see if they can make it a 7th.
That is the question. Can they get another 3-star in here with Pato? Another... It's hard to tell and crazy to talk about, but like star player you want to say, because his hit rate is just so high, even though his entire team is having such a high hit rate. He's just going to accept the damage of that Giga Bomb. He's not going to bring one of those Icebox spells, and this means the Fox is going down quite early.
Yeah, I think he could have got really good value there, especially absorbing the Town Hall damage should he have had one. But hey, we're not going to doubt Pato, like you said, because his hit rate is fantastic. Does set the funnel, which is, I'm sure, the main thing he would have been expecting. Overgrowth the Town Hall here so that he can slowly move around it and then redirect in towards it. And so far, I guess, even though he lost the Spirit Fox, he can't be too dissatisfied with this.
Yeah, but we have seen as well a lot of Valkyries getting spring trapped away around this bottom side, because this Town Hall entry is typically the one you would expect as a base builder. This is why we have seen many spring traps located around that area. So I think a lot of Valkyries are not left anymore, so damage might be missing if we have the Archer Queen not really targeting the right defenses. The Royal Champion is still getting rotated into a lot of damage. He needs to keep her alive because she's one of the main damage sources with this army.
Yeah, the Barbarian King just about got those defenses on the left side. I wonder if he decides to use the Archer Queen ability early if he feels he's running out of damage, whilst he still has the tanking of the Root Riders. We see that Rocket Spear helping from the Royal Champion perspective, but once the Overgrowth wears off, we have that Crushing Mortar just blasting in towards his troops. Uses the freeze spell, and he's using the spells very well here. Still got the Queen ability, but things fading in the middle fast.
Yeah, the issue is that all of the healers are stuck on those Yetis at the bottom side. So if he can turn that around, that would be, again, so impressive, because he did pretty much this attack without the healers over the entire left flank, because they were stuck on those Yetis from the beginning, from the Siege Machine. The Queen with the action figure at the top, they're trying their best, and there's not much on the back end, but time is ticking.
Yeah, 30 seconds. He's got a couple of archers. Come on. If that Booga stays in range of the Tesla, he might just get that down. Archer Queen, is she good? She gets the Expo. She ends up going down. Managed to get it, though, which will help to drive a little bit extra percentage. And I think, like you said, time is actually the main factor here. Believe it or not, he's got enough strength to get through this, but he's just not going to have the time. It will keep Elevate in the lead on not just stars, excels their percentage lead that little bit more as well.
Yeah, really solid percentage still, and I feel like just those Yetis, if the Yetis do not steal those healers, and the healers are sticking with the Rage Gem of the Warden and all of those Root Riders, this attack could have been looking completely different, because even with this going the wrong way during that part around the Town Hall, he still just somehow managed to get a time fail in this one, because power was there for sure. But this is now the opening for only Bats, because they can now get hopefully a 3-star in for their side, and we have ND going in versus the base which Max is running. We have the Royal Champion charge, we have the 2 Overgrowth. The question is he going to go from the far side or into the Town Hall with those Root Riders?
And did they adjust based on that information? ND has a 50% hit rate across the 4 wars, so he's had 2 3-stars out of those. And the 12-11 trend that we see from Only Bads still on paper is possible for them to win the war in that manner as well. With the RC dive now completed, we do see Itsu. It's from the far side, 2 Overgrowths. Are we going to see that on the Town Hall at the back end of the base on top of that?
The Giant Bombs, the traps, they might have actually adjusted the traps exactly for those entries. They have seen the attacks of Oni Betzinger and are trying to really counter them. The one thing I'm looking forward now is, do we see any like black mines and red mines? Okay, there's the first black mine. This might result in a really, really bad fail if he cannot make it to the town, because he has to face pretty much all of those traps in between of him and the town hall itself.
He used the Warden ability there. He's holding on to that last Overgrowth spell. Interesting to see where he uses it, because there's not a lot of like high damage defenses left now other than behind the Town Hall. We've still got the Queen ability and the RC ability, so he actually does go ahead and overgrowth the Town Hall as well, just to really add the excitement here, Itsu.
Oh my. Okay, this bottom compartment, there's another Giga Bomb in there. There might be even more traps located around it. No, it's just the Giga Bomb for now, but this means the Fox is gone. The Town Hall is still standing on this little island. There's 1 wall break. Is that going to be enough to get that Town Hall itself? The Queen right now is going for the perfect wall. That might save him. The Archer Queen going there. The Invis with the Royal Champion. Is that going to be enough though?
King will get onto the Royal Champion. Maybe she will still get it. No, she turns to the King, so she misses it. But as you said, the Queen fortunately went for the perfect wall for him to break in towards the Town Hall, and she can finish that off. Had she have broke into that other compartment, then he might have struggled to get this. I guess he had the Rocket Loon to try and send to the Town Hall, but with the greater range, he might not have even got it close enough. As it stands, though, Queen is still alive. She is taking the damage. Can that Giant get out in front, and can she get through the multi-archer tower quick enough?
Oh, that would be still a really nice change. 14 seconds, the time is ticking. The Booger, the 1 minion next to the base, it's actually going down. This means the time should be enough, just because the 1 minion, or actually Booger, is it going to be enough? 1 more, and there we go. It's the 3-star. Andy is getting that 3-star. Oh my, what a close attack, what a crazy opening. Going in from the far side, I was super afraid that he was running into so many traps early on. But it somehow turned out great, and Only Bats is back in the match.
Wow, we've seen that from their match earlier today, where Demo got that 3-star right at the last millisecond, and they've done it again there. Wow, I mean, the Archer Queen literally survived that multi-archer tower with the tiniest bit of health. Had she not have, could have been a different story. I guess you could say that across multiple aspects of that attack, but being able to hold his composure despite going into all of the traps, very, very impressive. But now we have Leo, who has been equally impressive for Elevate, and if he can get a 3-star, he just puts them right back in the lead.
But for that, they have to get those 3-stars first, because Only Bats are rerunning a lot of those bases, and they have been defending and defending and defending so far. So how is that going to work out for him? The Royal Champion not going for the town hall. I'm not sure if that was the goal or if he just tries to create this pathing and this opening for his push then from the bottom side. But I think, no, they're going as well from the far side. Okay, both teams are going all out now because there is no safety net for those attacks.
Real reverse psychology here. Let's go. Elevate just thinking we will play you at your own game. Maybe they expect it not to be true from this scenario. I don't know. There's so many different mind games. But with the Barbarian King and the Archer Queen at the top of the base, should be able to make short work of those defenses to keep the Root Riders moving in the middle. But look at the damage that's going on there. He took a lot of damage at the front. One of the Root Riders went down. The Valkyries were clinging on, but I think they've just about gone down there as well now.
Oh, and the town hall again with the overgrowth. I am getting nervous over here. I mean, I know how good those players are with controlling their troops, but still, whenever on the back end the town hall is getting overgrowth, it is just making me nervous. I mean, the town hall is going to give you not just that second star, but as well potentially that third star. And that is something he has to go for. Eternal Tome ability is there, and there is many troops still left standing, the same as the King ability and the Royal Champion ability.
I really like the timing with that Eternal Tome because he didn't just use it as soon as the overgrowth wore off. He waited until the Crusher Mortar fired and then used it. But this is the issue, like you said it, Sue. We've got the RC in the middle with the Rocket Spear. He has to use the Spiky Ball early to try and push through the RC to the Town Hall. That is successful. Now she runs through. Can she get that Town Hall to try and give him the chance of the 3? If she gets that, which she does, maybe he's got enough for the bottom section of the base.
Oh, he's celebrating. Oh, okay, there's a lot of traps down here. But with that Archer Queen staying back, she's not going to catch any of those. But it is looking like the next 3 star. They are celebrating indeed. And I mean, okay. Mess up. And the entire match could shift into either direction.
It could, but which side would it be from? It's interesting that you said, oh, no, he's going from this far side, and then we see all of the traps, which obviously he would have gone into had he have gone into that side of the base. So just incredible mind games going on right now, but what that does mean is that Elevate retain their 1-star lead, and they are 22% ahead of Only Bads, and the score is 12-11 so far, or like on par for 12-11. We've had 2 3-stars from Elevate, 1 from Only Bads, and that is what it's been the entire time for Only Bads this monthly final.
Yeah, but there's still 4 more attacks to do. I'm not sure if we don't see another 3-star in at least one of those 4 attacks, but I guess we will find out because Dima is the next attacker, and he so far had an incredible run in this qualifier, not just with his bases, but as well on offense. The Royal Champion charge to begin with is looking really solid. I mean, take a look at that, how much value he gets. He got right into the heart, into the core of this base, and he's not stopping there.
It's such a juicy RC dive, that. I mean, how do you even look to get your Royal Champion into the center like that? Just absolutely beautifully executed. I guess he could have, like, done that little bit, tiny bit better. Got the Royal Champion and the Spirit Fox out, but do you think he was waiting to, like, pull the CC or something alongside that?
I mean, maybe that was the sacrifice and he was fine with that. Having the Ice Golems and everything already out nice and early is for sure something you could aim for, but again, it's hard to tell. Maybe he was looking for something different, we don't know, but the way we have that push now looking good. He's as well, that's something which we see a lot of times, having the Queen getting pushed into that core after she initially funneled the corner with using the King a little bit delayed. But those witches right now, they are not having the best time of their life versus the bomb tower, because one of them already went down.
Yep, Barbarian King fortunately has a lot of snakes up there to help protect. We've got the Town Hall overgrowth. So now we have the Root Riders matching up to where the King is. And they can just hopefully move around the top side of the base here. He's still got the king and queen ability, freeze spell, and multiple super barbs. So we'll probably see some of those super barbs across to the gold mines on the right side, just to try and, you know, get rid of those non-defensive buildings a bit quicker, so his root riders can actually focus on the center alongside his heroes.
Yeah, and we see again, out of those black ones and everything around that town hall area, he already caught 2 of them. There's another one this time around hitting Sneezy, so that pet is as well going down. There goes a nice freeze, keeping everything safe for now. The king ability can still be utilized on that back end with the spiky ball, hitting everything. He should be good to go, because 30 seconds is enough time, or should be enough time, to finish this base. The grenade trap and the giant bombs are not going to be enough to stop him, because there is a huge army behind his king. That's another 3-star. We said it, there's 4 more attacks, and it seems like we're going to see a ton more 3-stars in this match.
Of course, they have broken that trend, because these two teams really have been super impressive, and it feels like they have stepped up even more now that we're into the grand final stage. But Elevate have just been on another level so far. 15 stars in that opening matchup. Bernal had that attack where we thought it was just gone. There's no chance he gets this, and then somehow he did. Can he get another 3-star here to keep Elevate not just in the lead on percentage, but having that 1-star advantage too?
Oh no. Okay, the Fox finally is running into the Invis spell. But, I mean, take a look at that. The Fox not having many hit points left anymore. He's trying to redirect, and it seems like the Fox and the Royal Champ did not go where he planned her to go. And this means he's starting right away. He's not losing any more hit points on the hero or on his pet.
Yeah, he obviously wanted the scatter shot down there. That's why he put the invis on the defenses in the first instance, but then decided to just bail out, keep the Spirit Fox as well. So let's see how important that ends up being. The Crusher Mortar, oh my goodness, because of those defending Ice Golems, it's just pounding on his Root Riders right now. I think he's lost a couple of them at the start of this attack, which is devastating, especially so early on. And the Royal Champion also right at the bottom of her hit points. He is looking just lost right now.
Oh, that would be a really, really tough thing. Take a look at that. The Fire Mites are jumping as well into the Warden. Troops are redirecting into the Town Hall, but there's just so much damage right behind.
Oh my
we have
God.
as well another Invis, but that's too late. The Royal Champion going down. This attack is not looking good whatsoever. Wait a second. He's not even close to the 50% mark so far.
Yeah, I feel like I keep watching his camera. I'm trying to look at the attack, but his reactions are very prevalent. Everything seems to be going wrong for him, and he's struggling to focus there in the middle of the attack. He's got the King and Queen ability, and he really just has to try and grind out as much percentage as he can. Focus on the non-defensive buildings to the outside of the base. Elevate had a 22% lead before this attack, and it is being eaten up right now due to the start we had from Bernal.
This means that's exactly what we were talking about earlier, that anything can still happen. Just one attack not going the way, and that can be such a big deciding factor. He's trying to pick up more percentage on the back end, but this one attack could cost them this grand final match. It's still going to be a bracket reset because they have this second life in this matchup, but Oni Bats have everything in their own hands now with their final attack, because if they 3-star, they should have the percentage lead.
Yes, and they go into this final round of attacks in the lead due to this attack. Even if Bernal, didn't 3-star but got a higher percentage, they would have kept the lead. However, at this stage, it is actually leapfrogging across to Only Bads. They don't have a massive lead. The percentage will still only be around about 6%, but it means should they 3-star in this next attack, they take the victory. Elevate cannot catch up.
Oh, so much pressure on that next attacker for Only Bats. I mean, that is a lot of pressure indeed, and he can decide everything with that last attacker. 3-star, and you can see it on the percentage already. There is no chance of coming back for Elevate. Ninja has everything in his own hands, which, I mean, let's see if he can handle the pressure.
Yeah, I mean, this is really tough as well because he had one of those awful situations that we've just seen Banal stuck in, but in the last war where he only got that 66%. And he's got to be able to mentally shift that apart in order to now spin it back. I mean, he's had multiple 3 stars even during this weekend, but he's got to set that attack aside from the previous war to really pull it out of the bag when it matters.
And let's see how that's going to work. The skeleton trap is going to delay him quite a bit. He has to invest that rage just to speed up the warden a little bit so he doesn't have to invest too many invisibility spells, because he wants to have the warden being stuck after those defenses so he can turn everything invisible and he gets the fireball onto that poison tower, if that's the one target I would assume he's going for. Maybe there's something different. We will find out in just a second, because I don't think that he will have the warden walk keep going for too much longer.
Yeah, no, I think
okay.
Oh, wait a second. No, Crusher Motor. Let's just go for the center of the base. Oh my goodness. Didn't quite get the Clan Castle down there, and he's lost his Grand Warden as well. Itsu got the fireball, but the other aspects didn't work.
And the Clan Castle, he did not get the Clan Castle with the earthquakes. Or I think he could have gotten that down as well, right? With the if he would have hit the earthquakes over there. But okay, but yeah, it's entering as well from the far side. Everything on the line. He's going full risk, because if this does not 3-star, I mean, to be honest, he could still go with the safer approach, but he just risked it all with this one attack. Clan Castle comes out. He does not have a poison, so this furnace is going to be not fun to encounter.
Especially as, look, everything's grouping up right now into that multi-inferno compartment, meaning the Fire Mice can just get extra damage, especially in combination with the Ice Golem. He's got some hero abilities to be able to try and lock up that Town Hall, but remember, Bads only have a 6% advantage right now. Ninja needs to get the 3-star to lock up the war for them. If he does not, then Elevate can still take this.
Okay, the Town Hall is going down, so the 2nd star is secured. But still, he needs that 3-star for being 100% safe that they're going to win this match. He has 35 seconds and a lot of power with that Archqueen ability. But that multi-arch tower, and as well the defending multi-throne tower on the back end, is not looking easy to get through whatsoever. Another giant bomb dealing a ton of damage to his Archer Queen clones. And with 20 seconds and more skeleton traps popping up, I am not sure if that's going to be enough.
No, that